Okay, so AI and jobs, right? Everyone's talking about it, tons of research out there, some pretty wild predictions. But what does it all actually, mean for people?
Well, the thing is, it's not some far-off future we're talking about. This is happening NW. Like the AI revolution is already changing how the job market works.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, think about it. How often do you call customer service and end up talking to a bot?
Exactly.
That's AI, and it's only just the beginning.
It goes way beyond that, though. Like customer service is just one thing. AI is changing creative fields, data analysis, finance, you name it.
AI designing graphics and videos, that's kind of wild, right? I always thought those were like human jobs.
Yeah, well, tools like Midjourney and Runway AI are showing us that you can automate creativity too. They make complex designs in seconds, which, yeah, it does make you wonder about the future of creative jobs.
So are like graphic designers and video editors going to be out of work? Is AI going to just replace artists?
It's not that straightforward. AI can definitely do some creative stuff, but it's more likely to become a tool for artists, not a replacement. Think of it as working together, not competing.
So instead of spending hours on like the boring parts, artists can use AI to speed things up and focus on the bigger creative ideas.
Exactly. And this whole idea of humans and AI working together, that goes for other fields too. Data analysis is a great example. AI can crunch numbers and find patterns way faster than any human. But it's still a human who understands the big picture, provides the context, the insights.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the people whose entire job I ask that stuff AI can do better? What happens to them?
That's where things get really interesting. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2025, 85 million jobs will be gone because of automation.
Wow.
But here's the thing, they also predict 97 million new W jobs will be created.
So it's like a one step back, but then two steps forward kind of thing.
Exactly. The key is what jobs are disappearing and what new opportunities are opening up. Those 85 million jobs lost, they're mostly jobs with lots of routine, repetitive tasks. Data entry, customer service, even some manufacturing.
So jobs that are basically a set of instructions that AI can learn, right?
Right. But those 97 million new W jobs, those require things AI can't do. Ingenuity, critical thinking, problem solving. Like AI engineers, the people who build these algorithms.
So if you're good at math, logic, maybe a little creative, that's a good career path now.
Definitely. But there are tons of other options too. Data analysts aren't going away, they're becoming big data specialists. Instead of being replaced by AI, they're using it to manage all that data.
No, like data analysis on steroids.
Uh-huh, you could say that. And then there are these more specialized roles like AI system supervisors. They're like the conductors of the AI orchestra, making sure all the algorithms are working together properly and ethically.
Ethics, yeah, that's a whole other topic.
It is, and it's really important. But first, I think we need to talk about what's probably on everyone's mind. Do you have to become a programmer to survive all this?
Yeah, I think that's a big one for our listeners. Like, should we all be learning to code right now?
Not necessarily. Coding's a good skill, but it's not the only way to succeed. Remember, AI is a tool, and like any tool, it's only as good as the person using it.
So it's not just about coding, it's about learning how to use AI to make our existing skills better. Like if I'm a writer, I could use AI to help me research or get ideas, maybe even edit.
Exactly. Or if you're in sales, use AI to analyze customer data and personalize your pitches. The key is to be adaptable, to see how AI can work with what you already do, not replace it.
So understand these tools and figure out how to make them work for you.
Precisely. The real winners in this new world are going to be the people who adapt, learn new skills, and find creative ways to work with AI, not fear it.
I like that perspective. It's not us versus AI, it's us and AI.
Right, and when we find that synergy, that's when we can really see what this technology can do.
So how do we get there? How do we make sure this partnership leads to good things for everyone? That's what I'm really curious about.
That's a great question, and it brings us to one of the most important parts of this whole AI thing, ethics.
Right, because we can't just like unleash these powerful algorithms without any rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where AI ethics and regulatory analysts come in. They're the ones developing policies and regulations to make sure AI is used responsibly, transparently, and for the benefit of society.
So they're kind of like the AI referees, making sure everyone plays fair.
That's a good way to put it. They're dealing with some really tough questions, like how to stop AI bias, how to make sure someone's accountable for AI decisions, even like what are the legal rules for these advanced AI systems.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. I think we need to dig into this ethics thing a little deeper because it sounds like it's going to be really important for how this all plays out.
Absolutely. And that's exactly where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
So we're back and ready to get into this whole AI ethics thing. Before we were talking about like guardrails, making sure AI is used the right way. What are some of the things that we should be worried about?
Well, one of the biggest things with AI is bias. We've already seen AI systems making existing biases worse, especially things like facial recognition, loans, even hiring.
So if the data you use to train an AI is already biased, the AI is going to learn that bias and give unfair results.
Exactly. And AI can process so much data so fast that these biases can spread way faster than if humans were making the decisions. It's like a ripple effect.
Okay, that's a little scary. So how do we fix that? How do we make sure AI isn't making inequality worse?
It's tough, but there are things we can do. First, we got to be way more careful about the data we use to train AI. It needs to be diverse, represent everyone, and not have harmful biases in it already.
So it's not just how MECH data, it's like where it comes from, right? The quality of it.
Exactly. Bad data in, bad data out. But even with good data, you still have to design the algorithms to be fair in the first place. That's where these AI ethics and regulatory analysts are super important.
Right. Those are the people thinking about the ethics of AI, building those guardrails we talked about.
Exactly. They're coming up with frameworks and guidelines for doing AI the right way. Thinking about things like transparency, making sure we can understand how the AI made a decision.
Because if we don't know how it decided something, how can we trust it?
Exactly. And they're also trying to figure out who's responsible when an AI makes a mistake. The developer, the person using it, the AI itself. These are tough questions we're just starting to think about.
It's like we need a whole new set of laws and philosophy for this stuff.
We do. AI is making us rethink all our old rules because it's so different.
So this isn't just a tech problem, it's like a societal problem that affects everyone.
Absolutely. It impacts everything. Privacy, security, jobs, even economic equality.
Hmm.
And it's not something tech people can solve on their own.
Hmm.
We need experts from everywhere. Law, ethics, social sciences, and of course, tech.
So like we need a whole new rule book for the AI game.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
And the stakes are high. If we mess this up, if AI is developed without thinking about the ethics, things could go really wrong.
So what does this mean for like the average person? What can we do to make sure AI is used for good?
Well, the first thing is awareness. The more people understand AI, what it can and can't do, the better we can talk about it and push for responsible development.
So knowledge is power, even with AI.
Absolutely. And it's not just knowing the technical stuff. It's thinking critically about how this affects society. Ask yourself, how will this change my life, my job, my community?
Right, because this isn't some abstract idea. It's going to have a real impact on all of us.
Exactly. And the more AI becomes part of our lives, the more we need a voice in how it's developed. We have to demand transparency, accountability, and ethical development from the companies and governments making these decisions.
So it's not just accepting whatever AI they throw at us. It's about shaping the future we want with AI.
Precisely. And that starts with education, awareness, and being willing to have these conversations, even though they're tough.
Okay, so we've talked about the bad stuff, the risks, the ethics, but AI can do some amazing things too, right?
Absolutely. It's already making a difference in healthcare, education, sustainability. And as it gets better, we'll see even more incredible uses.
Like I've read about AI making new medicines, diagnosing diseases earlier, even personalizing treatments. That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. And in education, AI can create personalized learning, adapting to each student's needs. Imagine every kid having a virtual tutor who helps them learn in the best way for them.
That would be huge, especially for kids who can't get regular tutoring.
Exactly. And for sustainability, AI is helping us use less energy, develop renewable energy, and track environmental changes.
So AI could actually help us solve some of the biggest problems we're facing.
It absolutely could. The potential is there, but it's up to us to make sure it's used for good, not to make things worse.
Right. It always comes back to ethics and responsibility. We got to be aware of the risks, but also be excited about what AI can do.
Well said. And that's a perfect way to lead into our last point, which is all about the future of work in the age of AI. But first, a word from our sponsor.
All right, so back to the big question, right?
Yeah, how is all this going to change the way we work?
Exactly. Jobs changing, new jobs appearing. But what's it actually like working in a world powered by AI?
Good question. I think the main thing is AI isn't always about replacing jobs completely. It's more like it changes them. Think of it as giving humans superpowers, not getting rid of them.
Like having a, I don't know, a super smart assistant who does all the boring stuff so you can focus on the interesting parts of your job.
Exactly. Like, imagine a lawyer. AI can help them research cases, write documents, even analyze contracts. But it's still the lawyer who uses their expertise, makes the strategies, fights for their client.
Or a doctor, right. AI can help diagnose, suggest treatments, even do surgery, but it's still a human doctor who connects with the patient, has empathy, makes those tough calls based on each person.
Right. It's about finding that balance where humans and AI work together to do things they couldn't do alone.
So AI could actually make our jobs more, well, human by taking away the boring stuff and letting us focus on the things that make us human.
That's a great way to put it. And that's something to be excited about, not afraid of. Sure, there'll be bumps along the way. Some jobs will disappear. We got to be ready to learn new things.
Yeah, it's not just one big change, it's constantly evolving. What's a hot skill today might be useless tomorrow, so being able to learn and adapt is super important.
Definitely. And it's not just technical stuff either. As AI takes over more of the routine work, those human skills, like thinking critically, being creative, communication, emotional intelligence, those become even more valuable.
So all that soft skill stuff we sometimes forget about, that's what's really going to matter in the future.
Absolutely. Because those are the things that make us human. And with all these machines around, it's being human that'll make us stand out.
Okay, so practical advice time. For our listeners who might be feeling, I don't know, a little freaked out by all this, what's one thing they can do to get ready for this AI future?
I'd say the most important thing is to always be learning. The world's changing so fast, the only way to keep up is to never stop learning.
So it's not just what you know now, it's about being open to learning new things, staying curious, figuring out new tech and new ways of working.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to try things out. Play with new tools, take online courses, talk to people in different fields. The more you see different ideas and ways of doing things, the better prepared you'll be for whatever comes next.
You've given us a lot to think about. Any final thoughts for our listeners as they start their AI journey?
Embrace the challenge, stay curious, and remember, the future isn't something that just happens. It's something we build.
Love that. So it's not about being afraid of AI, it's about shaping it, using it to create the kind of future we want.
You got it. And who knows, we might even surprise ourselves with what we can do.
That's a great place to wrap things up. Thanks for being with us on this deep dive into AI and the job market.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, we hope this is giving you something to think about and some ideas to navigate this crazy new world. The future is yours. What are you going to do with it?